Hey everyone, this is Rosalina.
And this is Shauna, and we're your hosts for Too Young for This Shit podcast.
This podcast is not just about boobs, but our journey with cancer. We are young millennials, open about giving you our raw and unfiltered look into our lives. We are in no way medical professionals, nor are we offering medical advice. Any medical references are cited directly from public websites or from our personal diagnosis. Some topics and stories may be triggering to those who are fighting, have fought, or have loved someone with cancer. So I had my 5th infusion today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Good. Tired. It's always the night before I'm going to have an infusion is when I don't get enough sleep.
I think that makes sense. Because I had like a total, I would panic before.
Yeah.
I don't panic these days now since I'm on Taxol. It's so mild and I know what to expect and it's fine. But when I was doing AC, I remember being like, almost like PTSD. Like I would be like super anxious. And then just knowing for a few days I was going to feel terrible and all the side effects that came with it.
Yeah.
How are you feeling otherwise? How's the hair?
So the hair is the same. So what they do with the DigniCap is they lower the temperature because I have, a few like bald spots. So it's not as cold. That's nice that I have that option. But yeah, my hair is basically the same. I do see some like baby hairs growing in, which is a positive, but I think I will start seeing results after chemo is finished because it's not, killing the hair cells.
Right. Yeah. And you only have one more to go. That's so exciting.
For some reason, like today, my 4th infusion was when I celebrated. I literally celebrated because I felt like I was over the hump and I felt so close to the finishing line. And I think also because my best friend was here, I just felt happier. With this 5th infusion, like I was happy that everything went well. But I guess I'm just indifferent about it because I don't know. I'm excited that I have one more to go, but my mindset is just let's go. I want to end this. I want to finish this.
I'm right there with you on that. Just get it done.
Yeah. How have you been feeling with Taxol?
I feel more like myself.
That is good.
Like I took a nap for the first time yesterday, just because I've been having some hot flashes. So like sleeping, it's been like, we're getting a heat wave here. So it's been hot.
Yeah.
So I haven't been sleeping well. So I didn't sleep well the night before. So that's, I think, the only reason for the nap. But like I haven't had to really slow down or like, it wasn't like I was in bed I feel normal, like completely. There's like no side effects. At least like
that's good.
my nails, my thumbnails have turned like a different color. And I'm starting to feel some neuropathy, which is starting to scare me a little bit. But it's like I'm having such a hard time icing them. It's so uncomfortable.
It is very uncomfortable.
I just like, honestly, I'm like, I do it for maybe like 5 minutes and I'll like get them off. Like I'm like get on a mat, like take them off my feet. Like I'm done. Like I can't. The head is enough, more than enough.
Yep. I like keep them on for like 5 minutes and then take them off and then put it back on 5 minutes. And then 30 minutes in, that's when I just give up and say, okay, I think this is enough.
Yeah. Well, you last 25 minutes longer than I do. I'm like, yeah. And I feel bad because anybody that goes chemo with me, like my dad came with me for the first time a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he really just wants to like help me. And I was like, all right, you can come. Like I sent him the cold cap videos to help like, like show him what it was and how it like goes on my head. And luckily, like I've had this one nurse the last like few times I've gone who's been like amazing and like helps get the cap on and everything. So he wasn't like stressed out. But like I take my anxiety meds because now I'm done because I didn't have any type of reaction to Taxol at all. Bad reaction. I don't have to take steroids and I don't have to take
Benadryl.
Benadryl.
Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah. I asked for the no steroids. I feel better when I'm off
Yeah.
them. Like I mean, like I love being able to feel okay for those 2 days, but all the other side effects that come with it are just not.
So that means that your infusion is faster.
My infusion is now, I think it shaves off about like an hour and a half compared to the AC.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. You're like, in and out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had like a little bit of a scare too, because it's been, yeah, we haven't like really caught up. It's been like a month. To get I had a CAT scan.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
think I mentioned last time that I was blacking out after my AC treatments. And it started off like where it was just, I chalked it up to like the cold cap being really cold, and then my the Benadryl, like all the pre-meds, and then I never remembered the ride
Hmm.
home. And then my fourth treatment, I had like major lapse of time where I have no recollection. And like for, a few days after, it wasn't like that same day as I'm coming home from chemo and
Hmm.
just out of it. So they ordered a CAT scan, because when you said MRI, I can't have an
Hmm.
MRI because of the expanders. So I had to do a CAT scan, and that came back fine. They think it was just a reaction from the cold cap and the AC. So that's good. So, and then I had to get an echo done on Monday,
What's an echo?
an echocardiogram in my heart, because I had to do it before I started chemo, because AC is like a really tough drug.
Yep.
Um, and it can like ruin your heart. So they checked before to make sure that my heart would be able to handle chemo, and then they check after to make sure it didn't get damaged. So that was good.
Hmm. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Lots of just a lot of going on over here.
Yeah. I would say, like, there are some days that I'm totally fine, like, mentally, but I think the past few days I kind of got like emotional just out of the blue. It's hard because I think when you texted me about seeing all these posts of people who have like stage 4 breast cancer,
Ugh.
I think I kept seeing these posts just about like people having like a really hard time just having an infection, radiation was so bad, all those things that I kind of got like a little bit of
Yeah.
an anxiety from it. So
I yeah, I had a
yeah,
really,
that
I mean, I texted you. I had such a hard week that week, and I cried a lot actually, because like I said, I follow this girl in England who like is hilarious and has 3 kids, and she's 31, and um had a single mastectomy, and thought she was in remission, and it's in her bones now, and it's in her spine, and she's got a bunch of spots, and these spots were on her scans like from when she went through it the first time, and they just dismissed it. They didn't, like they didn't think it was anything, so they never even mentioned it to her. And now here she is, and she's stage 4. We really wanted to like make sure that we were really authentic. Like she's crying, like she's sitting there and being like, like it was so hard. I can't. And I love her stories, and she makes funny TikToks, and her hair is wild from going back from chemo, and she's got one boob with like a prosthetic that she's constantly ripping out of her shirt, and it's funny, and she's really funny. And then you get to see this whole other side of her, where she now is like, she's mentioned, what they've told their kids, and what, how her husband's dealing. It was, I cried to Matt about this. And I've never met her. I've never spoken to her. I found her like early on in my journey, and I just like liked her vibe, and this poor woman, and then I'm like, how do I know that my chemo is working? How do I know that there's like not other shit going on? Like I had scans earlier this year. Like, is this working? Like what, and then I was like, what if I'm stage? Like I had like a total, and it was like it's like all of my fears that are like very rational fears to have, I guess, throughout this journey. But I was being irrational, being like, I mean, it
yeah,
just
I
escalated
think
quick.
being in those type of groups, it's helpful, But I think there are times when I don't want to say toxic because I think that's the wrong word. I think it could really put a strain in your mental health. You know, not everyone is going through the same exact journey as you, and some people have it even worse than you do. So that part is just like so difficult for me to even comprehend everything, that these women are going through. All right. So this story is about me. So this is episode 3B. Kind of talks about just my plan, my doctor's appointments, and seeking second opinions. So let's start with, after I spoke with the head of radiology that day, February 25th, 2021, where he gave me the bad news that I have breast cancer. So he gave me the nurse navigator's phone number to start scheduling appointments. And let me tell you, everything went by super fast. When I received the call that day that I had breast cancer, Anna, the nurse navigator, she set up an appointment the following Tuesday, March 2nd, to meet with Dr. Perrin, breast surgeon, and then also to do